Hey guys, Dib the Awesome here to give you another Monster Legends guides. Where we talk about a monster's stats, their moveset, what to pair it up with, what to give for runes, what movesets, and all that jazz. Today we are looking at Fenrir, who was the last monster in the Mythology Maze event, I believe, which was before I even started playing Monster Legends. I think he was the last one. That would seem right. I think he was. I think he was the last one. So Fenrir is a monster that excuse me. He's a attacker with 0 turn cooldowns, and he's a buffer, which is really interesting. He's a buffer that does a lot of damage. Uh, he's got 3,509. His hit points is pretty awesome. 27k. His speed is 3,405. 3,454. I'm sorry for that pause there. So yeah, this is he's dark element, so his weakness is light, and that's not too bad of a weakness, to be honest. Because if you think about it, mostly light monsters are buff monsters, and the AI will usually buff first, unless they attack for some odd reason. So this isn't too bad of a weakness. I don't know if it's if it's going to be really bad now that Incognita is a thing. Uh, but I'm pretty sure when Incognita's out, it's going to be pretty troubling. uh, but for now, it's an okay weakness. It's not too bad. So yeah, Salvage Pillage. This is a AoE special damage bleed alt. This is a really good alt. So now we're going to skill groups 2, Splatoon Axe. Deals heavy special damage. This is a 55 damage move. And just to remind you, this guy runs on 0 turn cooldowns, which is pretty awesome. So I'm not going to recommend this move, simply because he has a better one, which costs actually less stamina too. Wolves Pack. This is AoE. It does 30 damage. It's low dark damage. So if you think about it, it's only like 5 power less than the normal AoE not alts moves. And yeah, this is a pretty good move. I'm actually, as I told you in the past videos, I'm a huge fan of bleed, and to have a 0 turn cooldown bleed is pretty solid. Pretty much ranks him up with like Relbog, but Relbog is more sturdier, or at least like the way you build them is more sturdier, or he just has more life overall. But yeah, this essentially that puts him up with Relbog, in the sense that he can also keep bleeding up, which is really awesome. The only problem is the 32 stamina. It's a lot of stamina, so you might be conservative about it. I don't really know, but yeah, you usually just have to use it once. You don't have to use it all the time. But yeah, it's a pretty awesome ability. Scary Howl. Deal low dark damage to all enemies. May give nightmares and days to all targets. So this is a pretty solid tripod. Hey, stop. My cat was just chewing on stuff. But yeah, this is you use this move if it's a supportive Fenrir, which is mostly the case. Nightmares isn't too much of a fan thing, but the days is also nice. You might not have to run it depending on who you plan on setting this guy up with. And that's totally the case, but it is a pretty okay move. So if it's like a supportive Fenrir, I actually recommend you run it. Here we got Devastation Axe. This is a 65 damage, 0 turn, everything 0 turn cooldown, and it's like 70 stamina. This is a pretty, this might be his most proficient. Never mind, this is his most like proficient. But in terms of spamability, I mean, like it's 1 stamina less. It's probably his lowest stamina move. Nope. There are 2 equal ones. But Devastation Axe is pretty nifty in terms of usability. So yeah, Black Wolf's Depredation. This deals heavy dark damage, make target bleed. This is a good single target move. It's good for like singling out Earth monsters. You'd totally want to pick up this move just to solo out Earth monsters. Rage of Fenrir. This is what makes him a really good. This is what makes him a buffer. Essentially, is his he gives a target triple damage for 3 turns, But the only downside, it might stun target. You see, I don't know if people like, I don't know if the people at Monster Legends even sat down to think about how OP this move is, or just given the situation. Uh, Granted, it's like a situational thing, but there is a way to get around the stun. Um, there is quite a few ways to get around this. So essentially, what you do, this is obviously the stun isn't like a really thing to like, uh, but yeah, this is a really broken move because essentially you can give this to your main attacker, which could be like a really bulky attacker. For instance, Atlas. You can give this to Atlas. You can give this to uh, there's a monster with a 35 damage AOE that's 100% accuracy. It's a really solid monster too. Just a bunch of debuffs really, and you can do it with that. Her name, it's a water monster. It's like it's a jellyfish monster. It's easy to find if you go to this page and look it up. It's like here, I'll just pull it up now. Uh, Nidaria, yeah, Nidaria is a good example. She has a 35 damage AOE. That's 100% accuracy, so you don't have to worry about it missing. Uh, Really solid, really solid. Um, so yeah, you can actually get around this stun clause. Normally, you just use this move on a monster that's resistant to stun, which is basically a lot of Earth attackers. We're talking about Osteo class. We're talking about Varuna. We're talking about oh shit, what's another Mercury. Oh my god. If you've seen the monsters that Mercurius, yeah, if you see monsters like if you've seen a team cop with like Kalik or like Cavenfish, Fenrir, and Mercurius, I think it was. It's just really stupid. The triple damage is really strong. Uh, and just being able to set up. So yeah, you can actually use this with pretty much anyone, but on the condition of you have Kalik on your team, because what Kalik can do is make your team resistant to freeze and stun. So essentially, you're protected by the bad effect of this move. And overall, it is a really strong buff. Usually, one turn of triple damage usually does the job, but if you have 3 turns of triple damage with a monster with a 0 turn count move, that's really strong. That's really broken, and essentially just wins you the game, pretty much. Yeah, triple damage is by far the best buff in the entire game, or just move to put on your monster, just simply because it has the potential of ending the game, like right there and then. It is a phenomenal buff, and this guy can provide it to pretty much anyone. So as long as it's Kalik as the deny monster. So runes with this guy, you can actually get away with running 2 strengths and a strength, 2 strengths and a speed. I'm sorry. You can do a strength life and a speed, just to stay a little more bulky and do a little more damage too. Because essentially after you do the buffing, because this guy's totally a buffer, you totally want this guy to be a buffer because his AoE damage is pretty weak. You don't want him to be the main attacker. But yeah, I guess if you do like the Kalik combo, you can just put triple damage on him, and then like you can do insane amount of damage with his Black Wolves, or not Black Wolves, is it Wolves Pack? Yeah, so there's a variety of things you can do. It's just gotta be a really specific combination of this guy and Kalik and whatever attacker you want. Really. But he is mainly works with people resistant to stun. So partners with this guy, like I said before, anyone that's resistant to stun, because you can buff your attacker so as long as it's immune to stun. So we're talking about like Osteo class, we're talking about Brontes, just really solid monsters. I can see a lot of like potential in this. What you can actually do is you can have your attacker run life runes and just have this guy buff the attacker, and now you have, not only do you have a monster that like sustains itself, but now you have a monster walking around with triple damage, and he's not going to be able to be bursted down a whole lot. You can do that. You mess around with that. Triple damage is a strong increase in damage. And what else? So Kalik, yeah. Honestly, this in terms of partners, it's really simple. Anti-stun, like stun immunity monsters, And Kalik. You have to have Kalik with this guy. It is a must. Just because the power of choice really to buff your anyone you really want in the game with triple damage for 2 turns, or like the whole 3 turns, is pretty devastating. Um, and that's all I really have to say about Fenrir. If you have any requests and such, leave it in the comments below, and I will do a guide on it as soon as I can. Um, I don't think I have anything else to say. Yep, I'm all done. I'll talk to you guys later. I am Dib the Awesome. Catch you guys later.